Pecha Kucha 295, Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, and of course the usual suspects, my Bison Tuesday and my Smiley Saturday. So I'm thinking to alternate slideshows with no moving parts and video edited slideshows. I'm weary of the value of either, but this is how I motivate myself to do something every week. So here we are. So what are we talking about this week? Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, a dystopian DC book where Superman comes out of retirement to save the world from superheroes, not supervillains. The book has obvious religious overtones from the word go, directly quoting the Bible, as it's mostly, I think, quotes from the Book of Revelations about an apocalypse coming, which is basically a superhero war, which is Superman has to stop. That's the content of the book. It's a world where all the superheroes you've heard of from DC have kind of gone away and have become... They've been turned into like mascots and corporate, shills. Where a new generation of superheroes who are far more aggressive and militant have come to quote-unquote save the world in their place. But what they typically seem to do is just wage war between themselves, boasting that they've eradicated crime, yet somehow every day they seem to be on the streets blowing each other up with nary the care for civilians. The story is told from the perspective of a pastor who is visited by the Spectre, who is this naked guy with the green hood who basically says, you will stand in judgment of the things to come. So it's a little bit like the Christmas Carol, where these two characters magic their way through the events of this book, so they're always in the right time at the right place to see the most dramatic things happen. The other main character of this book is Superman, who's retired and has abandoned his humanity to live in his fortress of solitude, which looks suspiciously like he's in Kansas, but he isn't. Wonder Woman tries to get him to come out of retirement because something bad has happened. What has happened? Superheroes have accidentally destroyed America's, I don't know what they call it, like grain belt. The American Midwest can no longer provide enough food to support the world economy. Something must be done because shit's about to get real. It's an interesting story in that most of this book is imagining most of the DC intellectual property something between 10 and 20 years in the future. Green Lantern in his Emerald Fortress in space, looking out for extraterrestrial threats, is very iconic. It's hilarious that he gets no lines in this book to ruin his mystique. Obviously, if you want to know what's going on in the future, who's the first person you're interested in? Well, it wouldn't happen to be Batman. But of course it's Batman. So what's he doing as an old man? Oh, policing Gotham through an army of robots. But he's still the good guy. This book has been created by people who appreciate the value Superman has to American pop culture. He is depicted as an iconic hero. The way he comes out of retirement is by stopping a bunch of superheroes fighting on a bridge who are endangering human lives. And the way that this is written and drawn, I mean, obviously you don't need me to tell you how excellent Alex Ross's oil paint illustrations are, but it's also where he places the camera. There's a reverence that is afforded Superman, and this is the kind of thing that turns cynical people like me who prefer Batman into people who can appreciate the value of Superman also. This is a world which requires hokey, do the right thing because you can, superheroes like him. And that's literally what he does to prevent the superheroes causing all the trouble they're causing. Well, they're not called superheroes in this, they're called super people, metahumans. He builds a giant prison in the ashes of Kansas that has been, ironically rendered useless by those super people. It's literally a powder keg that explodes, but I will speak no more of it because it's actually worth reading for yourself. Kingdom Come is a very, very good book. And I used this reverential approach to Superman to determine my M. Bison of the week, where I spend my Tuesday drawing only for the smallest amount of time. Some picture that must have M. Bison in it. There are no other rules. Typically between 1 and 2 hours. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to draw a picture with no lines. Not something I care to do. Not something I'm good at, and something that requires a lot more work than I care to put in. I'm surprised it turned out as well as it did. I also got through issue 4 of my manga book. It's weird that I come into these with a sense of what I want to fill my 20 pages per issue with. I've got like a bunch of footnotes, but I will typically allow the organic flow of characters interacting to either support or disavow what my intentions were. I intended to introduce a character in this book who isn't in it at all, because all the characters who were doing stuff needed to do more stuff to pad them out. And that's the whole reason I'm doing a second version of the script, because there were so many characters who were just not... I don't need them all fully fleshed out. This is just an introductory book, but I don't think the reader got a sense of who they were at all. And that's just not good enough. So far it's looking like it's working out. So Kingdom Come, very good. Is it too good? Every dystopian book I read by Marvel or DC makes it questionable to bother with continuity in comic books altogether. Best left to the manga artists, I think. They know what they're doing. I did my Tuesday Bison. I did my Smiley Saturday, and I've actually forgotten to edit that in. You just have to take my word for it. But yeah, that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 295, and I will see you next time.